Hello, Victor. Good afternoon. How are you doing today? Hi, Victor. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining the call.
Yeah.
How is your weekend going?
Oh, very fine. Thank you. Very fine.
Okay. So we have about 6 people on the call. We're expecting more people to join in.
Okay, no problem.
So we have about 7. So yes, we'll just give it maybe 5 more minutes if it's fine by you, and then we'll get started.
That's fine.
All right, thank you. Thank you again for your patience.
Yeah, hi.
I think we can start now. So we have about 12 learners in class, and I believe they'll join in subsequently as the session goes by. So I think we can start the session now. You can share your screen. I already enabled screen sharing, so it makes it easy for you to share your screen.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, rather.
Good afternoon, Victor.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so let me just see if I can put on my video. Okay, I think I just had to update my my computer, my Zoom, because it seems like I can connect to my audio on the Mac. So I'm coming. Just give me a minute. Let me mute here. See if I. Okay, sorry. So it's still not working. So I'll just work my other laptop. Okay. You can see my screen. That's correct, right?
Yes, we can see.
Can see your screen.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, so my name is Victor, Victor Akan, yeah, that's my son name. The presentation for attracting opportunities and growing your career in data science. But before I begin, how many do we have? We have roughly about 6 people. Okay, so would it be okay if everyone just everyone that is here to listen, part of the trainees could just tell me a name and give me their name and a little bit about themselves and why they are possibly interested in learning or they are interested in learning data science as it is right now. Okay, so we'll just start with Osuwale Akeju, I think.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah.
All right. My name is Akeju Osholali Jonathan.
Okay.
And I'm a data. I'm an IT enthusiast. I'm not practicing self-employed right now, but I've always been an IT enthusiast right now. So, well, that's the little. Then the reason why I like to study data science, I like I like anything that challenges my mind, that pushes me to analyze situation, anything that pushes me to take information and then work on it and analyze it. I like analyzing situations. So basically, and I know that the way the world is, it's turning into a world of data already. So there's almost nothing you want to do, as regards coming up with ideas and then, implementing policies and all stuff that you won't be dealing with data. So, and that is the reason why I chose I chose to want to study more in data science and analytics as well.
Okay. That's excellent, Oshwali. Oshwalali, sorry.
Surely.
Okay. Okay. So just one quick question: When did you start doing anything practical in programming?
Okay. It's been a while that I got introduced into programming. With the first time, my first attempt in programming was when I was in the university. But
Okay.
I studied physics. But in one of the courses I offered in the university, we did Fortran, that's a formula translation.
Okay.
And it was one of these old, how our universities are. They will choose all those old programming languages. So that was um, my first introduction into programming. So then after school, during school as well, I got to learn about Python, but I didn't go deep into it at all. So then later after school, I had opportunity to enroll in a Python class for beginners. So we just did very little, nothing deep, nothing intermediate,
I get you.
just elementary. So, but now this is my time of being so deep into it. This is my first time.
Understanding. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, for I could just go next. I think Joy should also be part. Yeah. So Joy, could just tell me briefly, please, because I might not have a lot of time. Briefly about yourself and
Okay. Good
why
morning.
you're so
Good
interested
afternoon,
in learning data
everyone.
science.
My name is Joy Joseph.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm an entrepreneur, a realtor, and a fashion senior at the same time. Okay. The reason I just love the reason I decided to go for data science is because of the employment opportunities and probably the earning potential. So I just feel it's a field where I could earn better and then just try other things since it deals with the numbers and other things.
Okay. That's good. Okay. So quickly, Ojozilabo Adeoye. Sorry, I'm guessing I'm not pronouncing your name right.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ojozilabo Kelvin. Probably on the road now. The reason why I joined student and the reason I chose data science is practically simple. In my field of operation, and it has to do with a lot of paperwork, like a whole lot of package. And I just want to have the bright idea on how to channel all these things and make it work. That's it.
Okay, Prime. I don't know Prime is. Prime, are you there? Okay, could just move to Miriam then, please.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm
Miriam. I'm currently a financial analyst. I'm learning data science because it's just easy to explain yourself when the figures are talking. So you don't have to talk too much. You just display your screen and you're not talking again. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Samuel Omalaja.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning. Well, I'm currently running software engineering with a student, So I'm not into data science for now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, but you could just tell us why you choose software engineering anyway.
Your network is breaking. I didn't hear that. I didn't get
Oh,
that.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I said you could just quickly tell us why you picked software engineering. Maybe we can all learn a thing or two.
Yeah. Basically, my company is just a startup company. We are into telecom and agency banking. So oftentimes I had challenge explaining or expressing what I want to implement
Okay.
tech guys. So as the challenge, I just put that upon myself that, okay, why not I also join the team so that I will understand how they work, and also I'll be able to implement some of these things myself.
Okay. That's great then. Okay. Grace, you could just quickly tell us why you're learning data science. Okay, Grace, are you there? Okay, Aditula Zaya, please.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so my journey into data science was informed by one of the things I do. I'm a business person. I do basically commodities, and I have seen how this next system.
I think I'm having issues with your audio, right? But
Okay. I need to speak up.
Yeah.
I said I have seen how there's next developing data in area about processing, the stages, conversion rates, those things. I know there are some of the Bureau of Statistics, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, going to farms, markets, as really opened my eyes to the fact that really there's a gulf that is, and even in regards of transportation, everywhere I look at, there's data gap. So it's
Okay.
I am looking at it as a point of opportunity, basically.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Alade Sami or something. Alade Sami.
Hi everyone. Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm into data science. I'm a logistics expert, logistics analyst, and data science helps me express my research concerning logistics better.
Okay, perfect. Precise, straight to the point. Thank you very much.
Thank
Faith,
you.
Okay, so if Faith is not available, I don't know if I've covered everyone because people are joining and rejoining. Okay, Lois Ogubi.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so you could just tell me a little bit about briefly about why you're doing data science or why you're interested in data science.
Okay, basically, that's my strong passion for numeracy.
Strong passion for what?
Numeracy and
Okay.
calculation.
Okay. Okay. Aremu Adejoke, please. Okay, Aremu is not available. Shama.
Oh yeah. So good morning. So I'm a digital marketer and a product designer. And data has played a huge role in my job. In fact, I think the marketing campaigns that we held that did not work like we planned is because we did not have data. So I did a class with data analytics. I didn't really understand it. So anything I see data, I just join so that I'll learn.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, so maybe we could just take one or two more people so we could just move on. Franklin, is Franklin still on? I think I saw you briefly. Yes. Franklin, I think I have an issue with your audio. Can't really hear you. Okay, you know what?
I haven't spoken yet. Kano.
Okay. Okay, so I think we've covered almost everybody. Okay, so the reason why I asked was because I was trying to know by understanding your reasons, I get to know okay why data science, and one thing I noticed was that every one of you has something else you are doing, and in that thing that you're doing, you're realizing that there is some sort of data need in what you are doing, right? So it's not like you just sat down one day and you were like, I want to learn data science. Is that you were doing something else and you realized your need for data or the necessity for data, and then you of course you got exposed to the buzzword data science, and you got to see, okay, if I had data science could help address this issue, address this concern, right? We live in a country right now that is way backwards in terms of data. I mean, the government does not even have proper data structures for its citizens, right? So so we are looking at a huge data gap. We're looking at a huge issue, right, on ground, and then competent hands, right? Competent skills would help address these issues on one hand, while on the other hand, putting a lot of money in your pocket, of course, because if you're really good at what you do and someone who is of value needs what you do, you'll be well compensated. So yeah, we'll just quickly get into the presentation today. So yeah, so title is attracting opportunities and growing your career, right? Why is it called attracting opportunities and growing your career? Because it's about you, right? It's about your growth. It's about being. Everyone has a vision for their lives. Of course, if you're in your 20s, 30s, you should have a vision for your life. You should know where you want to be after a certain number of years, right? It's the reason why we live our lives, right? We live for purpose. We live to achieve things, right? So you have a vision for your life, right? And that vision requires a roadmap. You need to do certain things right to get to where you want to be, right? So what are the things in your career and what are the things that you need to do right to get to where you need to be, right? So this is what this presentation will be about, especially for those. I believe most of the people I'm talking to would be enthusiasts, right? In 2018, when my first exposure to it wasn't even data science, it was just programming. I was an end user. I just wanted to learn, right? But I didn't have the guidance. I didn't have the opportunity of having somebody to guide me along my journey, right? So of course there are mistakes I made, because when you're ignorant, you definitely make mistakes. And the whole purpose of this presentation is to of just try to give you some sort of idea to prevent you from making the same mistakes, so that your journey will be faster. Because of course, if you can learn not to make mistakes, you won't waste time making those mistakes, right? So you better spend your time doing other things which will increase your effectiveness and speed up or accelerate your career. So that's the purpose of this presentation. Okay, so the presentation is going to be please I hope you can see my full screen. It's important that you can.
Yes, sir, we can see that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Emeka. Okay, so that's 1 minute. Okay. So presentation roadmap. I'll tell you briefly about myself, how I started and everything. I would, and of course, the reason why I'm just going to give you a brief highlight of my story. Maybe some of you could see certain mistakes that you're already making that you could correct yourself, on, or certain things that you're doing right that you could continue doing. You get, but basically the aim of the story is just to let you know that where you are, I have been, right? Of course, I'm not done. I'm still growing, right? But basically where you are, I have been, especially as an enthusiast, right? I can kind of connect, right, to where you are right now. And I'm telling you that based on where you are and where I've been, there is hope, right? And there is you should be joyful in the sense that data science, data science is necessary. Just like most of you guys said, you were someone said she's an entrepreneur, another person said he's a I think a product manager or so, another person said he's a logistics analyst. So you guys are in different fields of life, yet you guys are coming to one realization: data is necessary. Data is necessary in whatever you do. Data is necessary, right? So yeah. So sorry, I don't know how I got to where I got to, right? But yeah, so from my story, we'll get to your own story roadmap. What are the stages, right, in terms of career growth, in terms of career opportunities? How do you attain career growth? What are the things you need to do? What's the roadmap? Now that you know the roadmap, how do you get there? How do you get there? How do you get to where you want to be, right? And then the key takeaways is just some sort of summary of key summaries, key things you should know um, from the presentation. Okay, so this was me in 2017. Yeah, this was me in 2017, November 2017. I just finished NYSC. I was completely ignorant um, of the joblessness in the society, of the high rate of unemployment in society. Very happy, done NYSC. Imagine myself working in some big oil company, the Nigerian dream. I don't know if I was the only one that had that dream anyway. Finished chemical engineering. Yeah, NYC. I just wanted to make money. I didn't know how, but I knew I wanted to make money. Yeah, so I was in Delta. Got back home. Got to Lagos trying to look for a job. After I got so many rejection letters, almost I was frustrated. Then I remember something. What did I remember? While I was serving, I had this friend, right? I still have him. He gave me some basic HTML and CSS videos, and I said, okay. But of course, I didn't see the need to sit down and watch it, right? So they say necessity is the mother of invention, right? So I found it necessary that time to be like, okay, let me see what this is about, right? We're always here programming, we're always here software development. Let us see what it's really about, right? So I started, of course, just watching basic HTML, CSS videos, and said, okay, let me move to JavaScript. And I loved the logic behind JavaScript, right? Very logical approach to things and all. Of course, at first it seems strange and all, and about variables, loops, and all those other things. And you're like, what do I need to do? Why do I need to learn this? You know, a lot of questions. The thing is, I had a lot of questions, but I didn't have anybody to answer those questions from me, right? So it was just me in my isolated shell trying to figure things out. So today we say, okay, let me look at JavaScript, JS, React, and I'm like, and after a while, it's like information on JavaScript, and then you're going to go and look at Node.js. What do you want to understand, right? What do you want to understand? So then my name is you. If you just signify if you hear me, okay, I think some people are sending messages, chats. Okay, is it still breaking, please?
I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Perfect. Okay.
I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, I was saying that, yeah, so for those of us that know the different JavaScript frameworks, imagine you don't really understand JavaScript, you're going to go and learn Node. And I'm like, God, are you sure this thing is for me? And all that stuff, right? So yeah, I was really confused, right? Well, one thing I knew was that I just wanted to code. I just wanted to code. I didn't know what I needed to do. I just knew that I wanted to code, right? And I found two links. Now, mind you, I've been applying for a lot of jobs, applied a lot of jobs, got rejection later. So sometimes I'll get to the interview stage, I still won't get accepted. right? But my first two jobs as an IT person, right? As an IT at graduate level, right? My first two this thing that I applied for, I got called to the interview, right? And actually got the offer basically for two of those jobs, right? The one I eventually picked is where I'm working now. I've been there since I started in 2018, 2019. So now, why did I say that, right? I was passionate, right? I knew that, see, I wanted this thing. Like, if I'm not getting this, I'm not getting anything else. Like, you have to get to that point where learning data science isn't an option for you anymore. It's something you have to do. It's like saying you've pursued something all your life, and then when it looks like that thing isn't coming again, you're like, where else can I go? This is the only way. You get, like, it's the only way. So just as data science is a necessity in the world, it must be a necessity in your life. Like, if it is not yet, then there's nothing else for me, right? And it isn't just in data science, it's in anything in life that you want to succeed in. It mustn't be an option for you. It has to be the only way. If it's not, if like, you have to put in your mind that it's just this, right? It's not an option, it's a necessity, right? So yeah, I prepared for the interview, um, got I got the job, right? In fact, I got the two jobs. I was confused. I was really confused, right? Because if you've gone to my LinkedIn profile, you see that I currently work in GT, right? And of course, I know bank and through support. At the time I given about data science, I just know I want, right? So yeah, so I just took a leap of faith, right? I just took a leap of faith, right? And I just went for GT Bank, right? And I found myself in data science. So I was actually just lucky, or God, basically. So found myself in data science, and that's how I've been learning, right? So on the job, there were still some things. Of course, there were still some things I had to learn. In fact, it was on the job I realized that, okay, some of the mistakes I made, right, I needed to learn how to build. I hope I'm not breaking. Someone sent a chat. Okay. Okay, so it was on the job that I realized that, okay, there's something called logical flow in programming, right? You have to, before you build okay, let's say when you're trying to learn a programming language, you're new to programming, right? Okay, what are the pillars in programming, right? You want to know about variables, you want to know about looping, you want to know about functions, classes, object-oriented programming, things like that. Just want to know, don't have an idea of how these things work, right? And then what you want to do next is that, okay, you want to go and start training yourself. How do I build my logic capacity, right? Things like that, you get. So it was on the job I started learning, when they give you a problem to solve, right, you would want to go and solve it using your creativity, right? So because back then, before I got the job, I could see what somebody's doing on YouTube. I would know how to do it, but twist it a little bit. I don't know how to do it again, right? That shows I didn't understand it. I just kind of crammed the process. Do you get, right? So, so at the end of the day, you want to boost your creativity to the points whereby even if they twist the problem or things like that, you know how to do it. So a lot of things that I didn't know, right, that I'll be sharing with you in subsequent slides, things I learned. Right now, my destination, or where I am presently, I'm still learning, right? Learning never ends. As long as there's innovation, as long as there's advancement in technology, then there'll always be learning, right? Although learning would not be as tedious as it was the first time, because the first time you're even trying to understand concept. There's nothing as, for me personally, there's nothing as frustrating as trying to learn new concepts. It's like I have to block all the noise in my head and just I think I'm breaking again. Okay. I think I should be done breaking. Am I done breaking, please?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So yeah, so there's nothing as frustrating as trying to understand new concepts, things like that. That's for me personally. When I'm trying to, like, when you're teaching me multiplication table for the first time, assuming I don't know multiplication table, it's going to be really frustrating, right? But you're teaching me 2 times 2. But after I've understood the concept, you're not trying to take me, okay, let us do 5,000 times 1, 5,000 times, things like that. It might seem like I'm going advanced, but I already understand the foundational level, right? So at the beginning, what you want to learn will be conceptualization. You're trying to understand the concepts, how these things work, how you can put 2 and 2 together to get what you need to get. But after you've learned the basic concepts of all you need in data science, the programming to statistics to the models and how they work, things like that. You now want to now advance your skills, learning about big data technologies, how you can use them, because at the end of the day, they all work on the same foundational principles, right? They all work on the same foundational principles. And once you understand those principles, all you're just doing is building bricks on the foundation you've learned, right? So it actually gets easier. The amount of work you have to put towards understanding gets easier, right? But the work itself towards achieving doesn't get easier. There's a difference, right? The foundation, in laying foundations, it gets easier, but in having to achieve, right, it doesn't get easier. The higher you go, the harder it is. But in terms of learning stuff from afresh, of course, that gets easier. Okay, yeah. So what would be your roadmap? How would you want to grow, right? What are the stages you need to in terms of your growth, right? Number one would be you'd want to first of all grow yourself in order for you to get to that level in your career where you want to be where you need to be, right? Where you need to be. First of all, you have to grow yourself, because career growth or getting to a certain level in your career is simply a reflection of the value you have within you, right? You can't give what you don't have. You can't be a manager, for example, a director of a place, and you have nothing to offer, right? You don't belong there, right? So in order for you to be where you belong, right, what do you have to do? You have to gain capacity. You have to grow yourself, right? You have to put in value so you can give out value, right? You have to invest in yourself, right? Now that's called self-growth, right? You want to grow yourself, right? We all know this. And growing yourself is never easy, right? It's never easy. When you're going to the gym and you're trying to lift weights, you feel like dying. You feel like dying at first, right? Everybody feels that way. You've never been to the gym, you want to get to the gym, you feel like dying, right? But guess what? You're trying to add value to your muscles, right? So it's going to be really hard. Going to be really stressful, right? It's going to be really strenuous. That's what self-growth is, especially at the beginning stages. Self-growth at the beginning stages is painful, right? But eventually, it's just discipline, consistency, right? Just discipline. It's not really painful like that, but it's discipline. You need to keep on achieving the same thing. You need to keep on doing the same thing to get to maintain status quo, right? So that's what self-growth is. Then after you've grown yourself, right? Imagine you have all the knowledge in the world. I don't know how if that's possible. You have all the knowledge in the world. You know everything that there is to know about data science. You know the practical steps towards building analytic models. Building stuff basically that could revolutionize the data science industry, right? But nobody knows. So who cares? Nobody cares, right? So what you want to do is that you want to know how to attract the opportunities, right, that match your competence level, right? So there's a way to go about that, right? And then after you've done that, you've made the best out of the opportunities you've gotten, right? That's how your career grows, right? It doesn't always have to be changing jobs. Sometimes it could even be you. So that's just it. Yeah. So now we're talking about self-growth. Now, how do you grow yourself? What are the things you need to do to grow yourself? What are the things you should do to grow yourself, right? So how to self-develop. I put mentorship. I put mentorship first. And there's a reason why I put mentorship. Most of the mistakes I made 2018 before I got into GT, right? And I was part of a community. Most of the mistakes I made, if I just had a mentor, at least 50% of those mistakes I would not have made them, right? Trying to learn this, trying to learn that, I didn't even know about logical flow, things like that. A lot of mistakes I made. In fact, in terms of career opportunities, trying to choose career, a lot of mistakes people make is because people don't have mentors. And this is just in data science. This is in a lot of areas in our lives, right? A lot of mistakes So if you just get a mentor, most of the other ideas or most of the other tips that I'll be sharing is like you not even have to even know them once you just get a mentor. Getting a mentor is like solving like 50% of your problems. The other 50%, your mentor guides you through it, right? So getting a mentor is so important. It's always good to have somebody that you converse with, right? You're trying to tell them, okay, I'm trying to learn, and then he says, no, instead of learning this, why not learn that? You're trying to tell them, I'm using this approach. Like, why are you using that approach? That approach is stale. Haven't you heard of this? Haven't you heard of that? You get? Haven't you heard of F strings, right? Why are you doing different things? And then he's basically trying to show you better ways to do things. You get? Or maybe you're trying to build a model using you're trying to build a solution using a particular model, and then it says no, that model never works with that. So guess what? You would have saved times you would have wasted, right, in taking that approach. You get? So things like that, right? Then focus, right? I spoke about this earlier. I was trying to learn, at the same time. There was a time I was trying to learn React and I'm trying to learn something else. And after a while, you feel overwhelmed. Why won't you feel overwhelmed? You're trying to learn a lot of things at the same time, right? When you could just focus on one, you could just say, okay, am I a data scientist? Am I a data engineer? Am I a data analyst? Am I a software engineer? What am I really? Define what you are or define who you are, right? And stick to it, right? It's okay to want to have a little bit of other things as time goes on, after you've mastered your field. But when you're starting, when you're an enthusiast, stick to something, right? And focus on it. Now, if you notice in life, when you're trying to throw a stone at, let's say, 5 different targets, the possibility of you getting any of them would be lesser than somebody that just has that one target and is throwing a stone at that one target, throwing a stone. That person is going to get there faster. You get? So just have a target, right? This is who I am. This is what I want to do, right? I'm not trying to go all over the place, right? It's okay to have a little bit of everything. But first of all, before you know a little bit of everything, be a master in your primary place, like in your primary profession, your primary role, right? So that's just it. Then push yourself. The reason why I push yourself is because when I first started working in GT, even till now, you resume before 8, and then you're closing 8-9, right? And my colleagues, right, because we're part of the tech academy, right? So they can push you here. They push some people to DevOps, push some people to app development, push some people to app support, push some people to different places, right? And there was this particular group that we all loved, right? There was a particular group that we all loved, particular group. So, and the reason why we love this group was because by 5 you have closed. By 5 you have closed. So me that was in data analytics now, we are closing by 8, by 9, and I'm just chatting my guys that were there. I'll be like, more guy, now they enjoy you. 5, 6, now don't close. You get 5, 6, now don't close, right? There's some other guys on the same floor as us, right? Those ones could close. Sometimes they close by 4, sometimes they close by 5. They're just chilling, right? And then I had a guy there. In 2 years after he was working there, he resigned, right? He had to travel out, right, for a master's. And then he told me something. He told me he was sad. I asked him why. He said that he didn't learn as much as he wanted to learn, right? He didn't learn as much as he wanted to learn, right? So while they were enjoying at first and we're envying them, we were like, more, I wish I had your shoes, right? We didn't know that we were building capacity, that we were using extra hours to build capacity that they would eventually envy us for, right? So at the beginning, it feels like you're being should I use the word cheated, or it feels like or it feels like you don't have a life of your own.
Can't hear you again.
But eventually, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So initially, it feels like you don't have a life of your own, or you're being cheated, or a lot of thoughts go through your head, right? But eventually, people would begin to be like, wow, this is what you've done in such a number of years, right? I mean, people could look at my CV and then they see what things I've done. They're like, wow, guy, in just less than 3 years. You mean you've done this, you've done that? I'm like, yeah. And sometimes I feel like I've not even done enough. When I look at what people have done, I'm like, guy, I need to learn this, I need to learn that, right? So it's more of like a relative point of view. So from my own perspective, I feel like I need to do more. From their own perspective, they feel like, guy, you've done so much, right? So you need to overwork yourself, right? I'm using the word overwork because you need to put in extra hours when you're starting. It's simple. If you want to be at the top of your career, you have to be more consistent than your peers, right? Because life is a pyramid scheme, right? Life is a pyramid scheme, right? Life is like a triangle, right? The higher you go, not a lot of people can fit at the top, right? So in order for it to be better, in order for you to get the best opportunities, you have to put in more work. You have to produce more results, right? More results mean more time, right? So, and especially when you're just starting out, right? When you're just starting out, if you want to, for example, in 3 years or in 2 years or in 4 years, you want to be negotiating a salary of 800K, right? 900K, a million. You have to put in the work. You have to get the required certifications. You have to prove that you deserve what you want to earn. Do you understand, right? So that's just it, right? I have a couple of friends that there's this guy I know, right? His name is Shegun, right? We joined at the same time. So right, so while we were basically while me by that time I didn't even know about anything regarding certifications, right? Of course I knew certifications, but I didn't understand its importance, right? I didn't understand its importance. But this guy understood the importance. So what did this guy do? This guy will go and get certifications in Azure, in AWS. The guy has like, I think, does he have up to 10 certifications? The guy has a lot of certifications, right? And so another bank wanted to get him, right? Another bank wanted to get him, right? Wanted to give him next level, right? Next level this thing. But guess what? Where he was, right? Working the same place. They already promoted him, right? They promoted him. After they promoted him, the bank that wanted him, he told them, this is what these people have offered me, so you have to increase it, right? They increased it, right? Why? Because they believe he's somebody of value, right? When you're getting all those, you're spending, of course, those certificates are not free, of course, $200, $300. He's spending, he's investing in himself. And people have seen it that this guy knows a lot of big, this guy knows a lot of big so okay, someone cannot hear me. Someone cannot hear me. Please, can you hear me, guys? I'm so sorry about my network. Usually not this.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So he's basically getting these certifications, he's investing in himself, right? And these guys are like, for this guy to have done this in such a short period of time, I believe that, he would be able to get the job done, right? So guess what? As they increased the size, they promoted him. The other banks were still like, we're going to increase your own too. So guess what? They gave him the next level. On the next level, so you're an ET in the bank. We have different things. So you're an ET. You're getting an offer from another bank to be an ABO, right? But your bank is like, okay, no, we'll make you an ABO. So your bank makes you an ABO, and then that bank comes back and say, no, we'll make you a BO, right? That's like the next level, and then I'm making the guy the next level. And after that those who get him, they're like, okay, they've gotten him, right? And then guess what? Another company basically sees he basically finds him on LinkedIn, and they're like, an auditing firm now finds him on LinkedIn, and they're like, guy, we want you. Look at the certifications you had in just 2 years plus. And then the guy's like, no, I just moved to this other bank, so I just need time to, and they're like, don't worry, we'll give you senior DevOps engineer. And they're like, yeah, what is salary? And you guys have discussed, and like they've given you a tempting offer, right? And in 2 months, the guy has left and he's gone to that place collecting senior DevOps this thing, and then it's like, okay, you know what? Let me just settle here and work here for a number of years, right? So basically, he has built himself so much that he has
The line
built
is now seriously breaking. You can't really hear it again.
Okay.
Sorry, Victor. Hello, Samuel. Hello, everyone. Please, in case you experience or in case you notice that Victor's connection is not going fine, just drop a comment in the chat box. So do not disturb or distract the session that is ongoing. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me better now, please?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Apologies for that, please. Okay, yeah. So they've seen that Shegun is somebody of value, right? So guess what? They are willing to pay for him.
Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so they are willing to pay for him. They are willing to invest in him, right? So, and why was that, right? Shegun was somebody, or is somebody that pushes himself. I remember when we were in training school, when all of us are done with classes, all of us want to relax more. Shegun is his laptop, is trying to learn this. And one day I met him, I'm like, guy, don't you think, guy, you're so hardworking? Like, why? And then what the guy told me was, guy, I've suffered in this life. GT Bank has given me an opportunity, and I'm going to grab it with everything I have. Like, I saw passion in these guys. I know when you have passion, and you're like, is this what it is? I have passion, and you get scared. I'm like, Jesus, what kind of passion is this, right? So the guy, where he is right now, he completely deserves it. I'm happy for him, right? But what's my point? You have to be able to push yourself. You see that your guys are putting in 5 hours, putting 8 hours. For those of us that watch football, we understand the kind of person Ronaldo is, right? Ronaldo pushes himself. If he sees that people are training 5 hours, he trains like 8 hours, 9 hours. You get, basically just putting in extra hours. So that's just it, right? Put in extra hours and be more geared at being productive, right? Don't just put in hours and you're not doing anything. Of course, put in hours and make sure you're getting the results right, and getting them right on time, right? Then, yeah, vision. It's important to have passion, right? But so if you notice, the reason why I asked you why you went into data science is because I'm really trying to check your vision, and I'm really trying to judge, okay, is your vision going to be big enough to sustain your dream, to sustain your passion? Because guess what? It doesn't get easier. It really doesn't get easier. The better you are, the more the expectations, right? In my organization, they say the reward for hard work is more work, right? You worked hard enough, they reward you, but guess what? They expect more from you. The expectations never drops unless you're somebody that cannot be counted on. The expectation never drops, right? The expectation increases. Even in the marketing part of the bank, right? You bring in a billionaire, tomorrow they ask you to bring 2 billion, right? Because they believe that if you've done this, you can do better, right? So, and guess what? You get frustrated eventually. So if the reason why you're doing what you're doing is not good enough, or it's not strong enough, guess what? You might just give up, or you might put in minimal effort. And you might not go as far as you want to go, right? So that's just basically it. I could just give you a quick example. When I was in university, right? I lost my dad before I went to university. So it was just my mom, right? So, and I hated my course. I hate chemical engineering. Anyway, if you know me, the first thing to know about me is I hate chemical engineering. If you ask me this thing for benzene, the structure for benzene, I might not even get it right. That's how much I hate chemical engineering, right? But when I remember that my mom invested all her sweat to get me to go to school, and I had to get a good result, right? That just kept me going, right? So I was just on the borderline of a 2-1. Just those of us that are just sitting on the borderline, any small thing would have dropped. So I don't got there. You get, so what's my point? I had a vision. There was a why I needed to get there, right? There was a why I needed to perform as highly as I needed to, right? I couldn't let my mom down. So my point is, your vision must be strong enough, right? Your vision must be strong enough to take you to that place where you need to be. If not, you might not go very far, right? So next slide. I'm sorry. Next slide. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Independence. Yeah. So independence in this sense would be, okay. So in my organization, I'm not trying to brag or anything, right? But in my organization, whenever I'm on leave, right? Okay, like I went on leave like last week or so, right? I came back ending of this week, and they're like, Victor, we missed you. We missed you. Why? There's a problem they need me to solve, right? There's a problem they need me to solve, right? So I'm the kind of person that, although it can be a problem too, I'm the kind of person that when I see a challenge, I can't back off. When I'm getting errors, I want to know why I'm getting errors. If not, I can't sleep. Like if I sleep, I'll sleep with anger. There's this anger, and I wake up early. I'll try to figure it out the next day, right? I'm that kind of person that if I say, okay, I'll close by 7 or 8, right? If there's something pending that I'm like, why is it not working? I can end up closing like 10. And if I have not fixed it by that 10, I'll be very upset. I'm just trying to learn to control myself right now, right? So independent in such a way that when you see bugs or when you there's something you can't do right, you should be angry. Like, why can't I do this right? Like, it should be, don't just have this mentality of I can't do it. Okay, come and help me, right? Come and help me, right? No, it's okay to ask for help sometimes, right? It's okay to ask for help, but only ask for help when you've tried all available things. You know in your heart that, oh boy, I don't try. I can't solve this thing. Please come and help me, right? Not don't ask for help at the first sign of of issues or at the first sign of danger, right? Only ask for help, except of course you have a tight deadline that you need to meet, right? So there are gray areas to that. You have a tight deadline you need to meet, right? But in a case where you know that if you put in a few extra hours in trying to figure this out, you get it right. Am I breaking? Because I can hear someone talking. Okay, I guess I'm not breaking. Okay, so in the case whereby you have a few extra hours to figure this out, try and figure it out. Guess what? There's something people don't understand, and it's a secret I'm going to share with you guys. The reason why you might not know my level of knowledge, right? I don't know it all, of course, right? But the reason why, part of the reason why I've gotten to where I've gotten to is because I like to fix bugs. I like to understand why things are not working, right? So a colleague might have a challenge. He's coming to meet me, Victor, come and help me figure this thing out. And I'm looking at it and I'm figuring it out. Guess what? I'm learning, right? And then I'll basically just explain to him how I did it. But guess what? He will forget. Why? Because he was not actively involved in the process. I was involved in the process. So whenever I see an issue like that again, I would just tell you, try that, this, try that, and then you end up going to try to work and be like, how did you know it was going to work? I had done it before. I had done something similar to that before, right? When the first thing that comes to your mind when you see issues is dependence on other people to fix it, you would not really grow as much as you'd want to, right? But when you are the go-to guy, when everybody knows you as that guy that when there's an issue, just go and meet this guy, he will be able to fix it. When you build that reputation for in your workplace or wherever you are in your community, guess what? You're going to learn things faster than the other guy that depends on you, right? Naturally in life, the independent person is always stronger than the people who are always dependent to others, right? So it's just a simple rule in life, right? Yeah, and the reason why I'm spending time on independence is because I noticed that a lot of people, even in my circle, a lot of people are too dependent on people to help them, right? A lot of people are too dependent on people to help them. Sometimes the issue could be so small that when the other person looks at it, you get the other person will be like, why don't you spend time just doing this yourself or just trying to figure it out yourself, right? So that's just it. Then team collaboration, right? Team collaboration, it's always good to be part of a team, right? Um, reason being that you are at you're at your least in isolation when you're trying to always do things yourself. You will always be at your least, to be honest. But if of course no human being is a constant. We are all subject to change, right? So if, for example, now week 1 you're so passionate about this thing, week 2 your passion is going down, week 3 your passion is going down, right? Who is there to pick you up, right? Who's there to hold you accountable, right? Yeah, so it's always good to be part of a community that helps you grow, right? For example, week 1 you're full of fire, but the person next to you is feeling demotivated. You pick him up, right? You're trying to learn something. You're trying to learn maybe big data and technology, maybe Hadoop, or maybe AWS Redshift. You're basically trying to learn something, right? And you say, okay, I'm going to devote my weekends to it, right? The first weekend, you're all fired up because, of course, you bought a new course, you're fired up, and then next week after work, Friday on Saturday, you're trying to learn, you're like, I'm tired, I worked throughout the week, why can't I rest more, right? So you rest and you're robbing yourself of extra hours you could have used towards improving yourself, right? But guess what? Imagine you guys are a group, like 3 people. On Saturday morning, you're feeling tired. How do I begin to learn this thing I'm trying to learn to add to improve my skills? And that guy calls you. That guy is still fired up. Say, Gafa, more go. And you're like, God, don't be say, guy, get up, right? And then the guy helps you, right? So the time when you're down, he helps you stay consistent. When he is down, you help him stay consistent. So it's always good to collaborate. When you're working on a project, stop thinking about doing things alone, right? It's always good to do things with people, right? When you do things alone, you might go fast, but to go far, you must always do things in groups. You get so. Yeah, then trends. Trends is always very important. you're you're in the data science space, you're in the tech space. Tech is always there's always some new buzzword, there's always some new trend, right? So you would want to stay up to date, right? How can you stay up to date? There's a website called Medium. They always release articles, right? Subscribe to Medium, right? When there's a new article regarding your field, when there's an update, when there's a new technology, they will help you. You feel like Medium is not the trends they are giving you is not good enough, or is not they're not giving you as much trends as you want. Just go and Google websites to update me or to notify me about trends, right? Websites to notify me about trends. You would see a couple of other websites. You must always stay up to date, right? Um, Last week I was researching, and then I just realized that, okay, wow, there's a new this thing there's a new library that provides some sort of GUI, graphical user interface. So rather than writing code on your Jupyter notebook for Python, right? Rather than writing code, there's a library that enables you to do things in GUI. That's for pandas only. So instead of having to group by, for example, you're trying to group by certain column fields in pandas data frame. Instead of doing that, instead of writing hard code, this thing does you just select the code you want to write, and then this thing helps you automatically generate those codes, right? Just by clicking you're able to see just by clicking you're able to you're able to transform those things into codes, right? So guess what, it makes your work faster, right? It makes your work faster. You're trying to build a model, right? You're trying to build a predictive model, maybe for example a random forest model, right? A random forest classifier. Instead of having to type, you're writing code, you're trying to check, okay, so how do I create intervals, maybe on a certain column? How do I band it? I'm trying to remember the word. How do you band it? You're trying to do maybe 1 to 5, 6 to 10, things like that. How do you do it? So rather than having to check the best way, you could just click, try and see, okay, how is the spread like in terms of proportion? How is the spread like? Okay, and then basically it makes your work faster. You get, there are a lot of other technologies, that makes your code cleaner, that makes your code faster. Just put yourself out there, try to research. How can I make things better? One thing I do personally, one thing I do personally that I believe that has helped me in my field of study, when you give me a project, right, I do it a certain way, right? When you give me a project again, as long as you give me time to deliver, I'll tell you, I say I can deliver this in next week. And I'm telling you, maybe next week Friday, or I'm giving you a further time because I want to learn how to do this thing better, right? When I do things the same way, I get bored and I like being challenged, right? So the last project I worked on, when I went on leave, my boss was reviewing, and then he came back and he said, Victor, this thing, could have just done it like that. Why do you have to do it like that? So I told him, okay, I feel like it's number one, to be more scalable, right? When it gets bigger, it will be more scalable, right? And then secondly, I realized that if I'd done it that other way, it takes about 50 minutes to run. But with this way I've done it, it takes 7 minutes to run, right? So guess what? I've improved scalability and I've optimized speed. You get? So don't just be okay achieving the same results. How can you do things better? You get? So that's just it. And yeah, most important is certifications. I spoke about Shegun and how Shegun achieves certification. Certifications are not, because certifications are not always proof that you know it too, right? But to your employers, they'll be more they'll I can just do my work and I know it better than the person that chased a certification, right? It's true. But employers don't necessarily know that. An employer will always want to, you see, if I have 20 people and I'm an employer, I have 20 people and that I need to interview, and 100 people are applying. And out of those 100, I'm seeing that 20 people have certificates. People I'm going to call for interview will be those 20 people with certificates, right? Because I'm seeing you have a couple of Azure certifications, you have a couple of AWS certifications, you have a couple of, maybe you have like a Snowflake certification, Apache Spark, you have maybe and Hadoop certification. Basically you have a certification in Power BI, right? Microsoft Data Analyst, I think. You have a lot of certifications. And I'm like, of course, I'm going to call this guy. Why? Because his CV is more packaged, right? Because employers don't live with you. They don't go to work with you. They don't see what you do. What they see is what you show them, right? So that's just it. So as for me personally, what I try to do is that I try to this certification thing. Just this year, I learned that secret, right? So what I want to do, right, personally, right, is that okay? I got 3 certifications this year, although they're just foundational courses, fundamental courses, right? Fundamental Azure fundamentals and AI fundamental and all those things, right? What I want to do is that I want to go advanced next year. Okay, I'm telling myself, okay, every 2 3 months I must have a new certificate, right? Set a target, set goals. You must, for you to succeed in data science, you must be intentional. It's just like you're trying to hit the gym. Maybe you're a lady, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to stay in shape, you're a guy, you're trying to grow gym. You tell yourself that 3 to 4 times a week I must go to the gym, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. These are the food I'll eat. You're specific in your goals. You must do the same thing with data science. This is where I want to get to by so time. But at the end of June, I must have gotten 2 3 certificates. These are the certificates I want to get. This is how much I will need. This is how I'm going to save up for it. You get, when you listen to very successful people that we all look up to, they have something in common that is very, really consistent. They know how to plan themselves. They know how to stay disciplined and true to the steps that they need to get to where they need to get to. Do you get? So it's the same thing, the same principles in life. You have to be really, right now, student has given you the platform to excel. All you have to do now is to be intentional about excelling to get to that pinnacle of your career, right? So there are a couple of other ways to self-develop. I just highlighted them. Yeah, there's something I forgot, right? It's called logic. Okay, I think I mentioned it. You have to learn. So so there's a website called edabit.com. Edabit is edabit.com. Let me just I had it on my Mac, but because I couldn't connect, I can't show you. So edabit.com, right, is a website where they give you questions that challenge you, that build your logical flow. So they can ask you, create a function that does this, does this, and able to do this, and then you're going to create the function there and then run it. And then if you created it well and it works, right? So basically they're trying to give you different logical problems, and you have to solve them using code. Edabit is edabit.com, right? And you have to solve these challenges. This is one of the websites that actually helps me a lot. After I started working, I realized I needed to build my logical flow. So right now, there are certain things you give me, I know how to do it, right? Why? Because I've built my creativity around programming, right? So Edabit helps in it's called muscle, memory muscle or something. Creativity muscle helps in expanding your creativity, right? There's another one called Hackaround. Hackaround, if you don't know Hackaround, is really popular, right? But I think Hackaround is not free anymore. Last time I checked, it was free. Now I think they are charging now. But anyway, but I think what happens on Hackaround is that employers usually look for the best people in terms of solving things. So if you feel like you're good enough, right, you've built yourself enough, you can go to Hackaround, join in competitions, try and maybe get the top 10 or top 20, and then employers can approach you and be like, okay, wow, I like the way you approach this issue. Okay, would like to hire you, or would like to interview you for possible hiring, things like that, right? So now you've built your CV. You need to attract opportunities, right? How do you do it, right? There are a couple of people I know, right, that are really good at what they do, but they are not going very far. Why? Because they don't know how to build relationships. They don't know how to network, right? You're really good at your job, but nobody knows that. And how will people get to know you? You have to put yourself out there, right? You've learned all the technicalities that there is to your career, but people don't know, right? So you have to make sure that people know. And how do people know, right? You have to build relationships, you have to build networks. People must, you first of all, you're so good at your job and you're building relationships, right? Because guess what? If I know you're good at your job, but I don't like you, and I'm in a new company and they're telling me recommend somebody, I will not recommend you because I don't want to work with you, right? So you have to learn how to build relationships, good cordial relationships with people. Don't cause unnecessary fight or issues when there isn't really any need to, right? Always have a good working relationship with your colleagues, because when they leave and they need recommendations, if they enjoyed working with you, because a lot of times when colleagues recommend people, not every time, but a lot of times people make it out of an emotional decision. That's my guy. As long as he can do the work and he's my guy, I like him, bring him. You get? So in terms of recommendations, people like you, right? So they want to work with you. They look forward to working with you, not necessarily because you are the best, but because they enjoy working with you, and they also know that you can do the job, even though you might not be the best person in the job in their hearts, but they like you and they enjoy working with you, and you can do the job to a certain level, right? So learn how to build relationships. Always go for networking. Um, um, always go for networking opportunities. What do I mean? There are a couple of tech. Okay, yeah, thank you. I think someone put the edabit.com. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, yeah. So there are a couple of tech opportunities. There are a couple of tech events being held, right? Let's say a company, let's say for example, OPay is doing organizing a program, just trying to spread the word about their services. I think they did that in 2019 or so, and then you now go. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to meet a lot of people that work in different places. Engage those people, right? Build relationships with them, right? Put yourself out there, basically. Put yourself out there. You're good, but nobody knows. So what you want to do is that you want to increase the number of people that know that you're good, right? And by doing that, you're going to increase leverage. Look at Shegun. Shegun was in was with us. He wanted to leave. They said no, we'll promote you. They promoted him. But the other people said like, we still need you, so we'll give you another promotion. So they promoted him, right? I've added and then then the auditing firm also said we want you, we'll give you so amount, right? So put yourself out there. So what did Shegun do? Shegun created his LinkedIn, to package it so nice, put in certifications, things like that. Put yourself out there, right? Package yourself. When we're in the graduate trainee, okay, I'll be done in like 10 minutes. Okay, so when we're in the graduate training trying to get into GT band, right? There was a project they gave us. Guy, I didn't know anything about it. Was 6 weeks. What can I learn in 6 weeks in data science? There's nothing I can learn. And then they're telling us to build customer lifetime value. When I'm still trying to wrap my head around writing code, they're telling me to build a model. I didn't know how to do it. So somebody that works there says, let me give you a tip. When people are trying to hire you, or when people are trying to bring you into their system, they don't have a full knowledge of I can do it. The first step, what they want to know is me saying I fit do it or I can do it, right? Not them seeing that I can do it, but me saying I can do it. What they want to see is my confidence level that I can do it, right? And then it says that just do something and be confident about what you've done, right? So guess what? We did something, and what we did wasn't correct, right? But we just showed them what we did, and we were confident. We were looking confident. Do you get right? So when I got into and I was like, okay, I could have done it. I could have done it that way, right? So a lot of times when you meet people, right, you just have to be able to learn to show that you can do it, right? You show you can do it, right? Because guess what? You might be able to do it, but your confidence level doesn't speak volumes, right? So they are not confident enough that you can do it. If I'm meeting you for the first time and I ask you, can you do this? I have no prior data on you. I have no prior information about you, right? The only thing that is going to convince me that you can do it at that first time is your eyes, right? How confident you are that you can do it. If you're like, yeah, of course I can do it. I'm like, okay. But if I ask, can you do it? And you're like, okay, let me see it first. Guess what? You've doubted yourself, so I'm going to doubt you, right? So you must be able to sell yourself. You must be able to, even as you're meeting people and you're networking with them, you must be able to sell yourself. You must be like, okay, I can do it. You must be able to use certain catchy phrases you get, that enables you, just connect with these people. You get, how can you connect with them? Things like that. How do you sell yourself, right? And then always interact with your professional platform, your LinkedIn. I think there's another one, Indeed. You want to get a job, interact with those platforms regularly, try and see what's out there, be active on them, use certain buzzwords. That's why when people are trying to search using a certain skill set, they can see you. On LinkedIn, we have Python test, we have if you're using Power BI, I think there should be a test on Power BI. Certain things that LinkedIn kind of, like on Instagram, you have like the blue tick. Yeah, so LinkedIn kinds of gives you that kind of blue tick, maybe on Python or maybe any other programming language or any other data technology that or analytics platform that you currently use or that you're specialized in. Try to undergo those LinkedIn tests. That's when you feel confident enough, please. Try to undergo those LinkedIn tests so that when people are searching for your skills, guess what? Your name pops up first. When I first started working in and if you look at my LinkedIn, it was like that of a herbalist or a chief priest or something. I just put one picture, one red background. I put a passport photograph, and when you look at it, it's really funny, right? And and my picture alone scared people away. So who would go to my profile? But I had to sit down. I had to optimize my LinkedIn. So what did I do? I used certain keywords. I tried to use certain catchy phrases. And guess what? I'm still looking for how to improve it because when I see some other people's, I'm like, Jesus. Even me, I'm an employee. I want to employ this person right now. You get so. Try to use certain phrases. I think so that when people search in their SEOs, you pop up first, right? Things like that. Yeah. So I've been talking about LinkedIn for a while now. Okay. Then yeah, always try to update your CV, right? Because trust me, there are some key things that you will have accomplished. You'll be like, oh, add it, but then you forget. And also, how you package your CV also matters. How you package your CV also matters, right? Don't just go for the your CV sometimes reveals a lot about you, right? Don't be somebody um that is okay making typo errors, right? Go to your CV because guess what? If you're writing something for me and I'm seeing a lot of typo errors, or I'm reading your CV and seeing a lot of typo errors, what's going to come to my mind is that the same way you treat your CV, the same way you're going to treat my work, right? Even the way you dress, things like that. The same way you dress, if you are shabby looking, my work will be shabby looking. You get so at first contact, everything about you must speak of excellence, right? There's a technical side to getting the job done, but it's also a and the art to getting the opportunities, right? Because people don't know you. What people know is their perception of you, which is in the outward appearance, right? So you want to make sure that you are well suited, or you are well you've addressed those areas well enough to give you a good impression about you, to make you feel like this guy is good enough. You get so always update your CV. Make sure your CV stands out, right? Don't just go for the normal CVs. Sometimes when I look at people's CVs, your CV should look exciting. Try to use colors that are exciting, right? Try to use colors that are exciting. Try to your choice of English should make it look like if you're asking for 800,000 naira, it will look like you're a thief. But there's some people, their choice of English is not so good and all, but and then when they're asking for salary, because guess what? When your employer checks out your LinkedIn, your employer checks out your CV, checks out everything about you. In his mind, he has already put in a price of what he can offer for you, right? Even with your skills. So, for example, if I'm coming to meet you and I tell you that I want to sew, I'm a fashion designer, I want to sew a clothes for you, and then you've looked at me, my clothes are looking shabby and all, and you're okay, and you don't. First of all, your confidence in me drops, and then when you ask me how much, and I tell you 200 or 300,000, you call me a thief. Why? Because you've sized me up, right? But if, for example, now I dress really nice, I drive a nice car, I say I want to sew a clothes for you, and you're like, okay, guy, you will cost to. Guess what? You already sized me. You already said this is how much I'm willing to pay this guy, right? This is how much I'm willing. This is how much this guy is worth, right? So if I call 300,000, you're not going to call me a thief, right? Because you know that this guy did this level. So your CV, your LinkedIn, every outward interaction platform that your employers will get to interact with you must speak highly of you, right? So that when you call 1 million, they're even begging you, say, Abba, bring them down now. Not the one that when you call 1 million, they're getting angry that is this guy a fool, or is this guy a thief, or is he trying to scam us, or does he think we are fools? You get so people must size you in a way whereby when you try to make demands, or when you try to sell yourself, they're like, yes, this guy is there. You get so that's just it. So yeah, attracting when it comes to growing yourself, just know the technicalities in your work and know it well. But when it comes to attracting opportunities, putting yourself out there, you have to look at relationships and how to deal with people. How can you connect best with people, right? I read a tip I'm just going to share with you guys, and the tip basically said this. It says when you meet somebody, try to start off with what you guys have in common, right? So for example, now I love Ronaldo so much. Now you're trying to meet me. That's if you have access to that information, of course, right? But just trying to get an access to something that you can, if you can, you try to meet me. I like Ronaldo, right? And before you come to meet me about your job, you're telling me about Ronaldo and how you love Ronaldo. Like, guy, and you're not, and then you tell me that this I have this issue. That you could just just help me. Just help me. I need a job, right? And I need to change jobs. And I'm like, okay, right. So how did that work? You first of all connected with me based on what I loved, right? And because I think very highly of myself, and you connected with me based on what I love, I'm going to think highly of you, even though I don't know you, right? So perception matters a lot, right? Attracting opportunities is all about people's perception of you, and that's something that you have to be very strategic with, right? The guy who is good at technicalities, but not so good at attracting opportunities, will not do as well, will not do as well as a guy who's good with relationship building, people building skills, relationship building skills, right? The guy who's very good at relationship building skills, but I won't say he's poor at technicality, because of course you must still be competent enough for the job, right? But he's not as good as the other guy who's excellent at his job, right? That's in terms of technicalities. That guy is going to go further places, because at the end of the day, for you to get to managerial levels, it's really about people skills, how you're able to lobby your way around, and you're able to convince people, and you're able to interact with people. Most of the managers I know are actually people that have very good people skills. Most of the leaders I know are people that have very good people skills. So you'd want to work on also your soft skills, right? Even as you're working your technical skills, right? And by the time you've done all the due diligence in growing yourself, you've done all the due diligence attracting opportunities, your career growth will just be a byproduct of the decisions you make in terms of attracting in terms of the choosing the opportunities you attract, right? So yeah. So I'm currently clicking on the next slide. My laptop is hanging again as usual. Apologies for that. Okay, yeah. So on the next slide, key takeaways. So what was actually on the key takeaway was I was going to say, to understand the to grow yourself, right? To grow yourself, you need to understand the science or the technicalities behind what you do, right? But to to get the opportunities that you deserve, right? Which is just a summary of everything I've been saying. To get the opportunities that you deserve, you need to learn the art of relationship building, or people skills, right? So that's just basically it. If you have any questions, you could just ask. No questions. Okay.
Sorry, boss. It's OJ that is speaking of.
Okay.
I don't know. Is it? Well, I don't know if you can share a contact. I would really like to get to hold you as one of my first contacts, as you have highly expressed here. So I can reach out to you if there are one or two things I don't truly understand. Because to be honest with you, I'm kind of lost in this whole thing, and I give myself a break so I don't run cycle. I'm kind of lost, so I just took a break from it. Then I'm back fully. I've been studying for the past few days, and I would just like to have a contact. You are expressive. I seem to understand what you're trying to preach here. I don't know if it's possible.
Okay. I can drop my contact, but I wouldn't do that until your student, the person in charge of you guys, it's okay with that. So if your person is okay with that, I will drop my contact.
Hi, Victor. It's totally fine. So whichever works for you.
Okay.
Right. It could be on LinkedIn, anyone that works for you.
Okay. Okay. So on LinkedIn, you could just send me a message, right? So on LinkedIn, you could just check for Victor Akan. I think I should be the only data scientist on LinkedIn. Let me check. So you could just check for Victor Akan. Yeah. So I'm the guy that says yeah, I'm the guy with big data, with a big data design. I think black, red, green. on his cover paper on the LinkedIn profile. Victor Akan, data scientist at GT Bank. Yeah, so that's me. Went to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Yeah, so we I just need to. So if you just send me a message, right? Yeah. So another thing is, I get a lot of requests from people who, not a lot, but I get a number of requests from people who say they want to learn data science, but really like 95% of those people are really disappointing because after a week or so, I'm the one following them up. So these days when people are like, I want you to help me, I don't really take them very serious at first. But for people here on student, I mean, you've taken the bold step to make sacrifices for your dream. So I know that you're serious enough. So basically, if you tell me you want to learn something, or you tell me that you're passionate about something, what the first question I'm going to ask you is, what have you given up to pursue what you want to do? If you can't mention anything substantial, I know you're not yet serious. But I mean, all of you guys are yes, and you've I know. So for everyone that is here, I know you've sacrificed something. So it's quite impressive. Yes. Any other question, please?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Osholale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I want to appreciate you for the time you have taken to mentor us through, with your practical experiences that you've had in growing in this sector or in this industry or field. So, now my question is, I just want to express myself now, and that would be the fact that because I'm a beginner, I usually find it hard. Sometimes, when you are trying to do the coding and you're running the coding and all that, and then you hit a rock bottom and you don't even know what next to do, and I don't know. And sometimes you just feel like can my brain carry this thing or not? But you just want to continue. You just want to keep up with it. So how do you differentiate the type? I mean, that feeling of, okay, I can still go on, and then that feeling of, I don't think I can go on.
Okay.
How are you to differentiate those feelings?
Okay. That's a very important question, because it's something that everybody that's been, if you're a sincere person, you'd have had to go through this one way or another. So the first thing I want you to know, Oshualale, is that you are not this issue is not isolated to you alone. Everybody that is starting a venture that is tough enough would identify with you. Yeah, so that being said, most times when you have issues, even right now, most times when I have issues, let me speak from my personal experience. Most times when I have issues, I don't have any headway. I don't know what to do. A lot of times, right? And I say this because I would claim not to know everything, but a lot of times, the issue is a foundational gap. There's something about a foundation that you don't understand. It's different when you have a bug, but you're trying to to say, okay, let me get here. Okay, let me try this. Let me try this. Okay, maybe because of the way the structure of this language or the structure of this tool works. Maybe I have to try this. I have to try that. I have to try that way. So you have an understanding of the foundational framework of how the system works, right? You're having a bug. You're trying to try different things. You have an idea of what to try, and you're trying it, right? But in a case where you don't have any idea, it just feels like you're just swimming. You're just swimming. Sometimes the problem is there's a gap in your foundational knowledge, right? Which is why I put Edabit there. So what Edabit does for you is Edabit, you're learning JavaScript, you're learning Python, you're learning PHP. You can pick any of those languages. Most of you here will be learning Python, I think. So you pick Python. Now, when you select Python, there's something called beginner, right? So they begin to give you some sort of coding questions, right? To help they begin to give you some sort of coding questions to help. Okay. Okay. Someone asked the question. Okay. Thank you very much, Franklin. I really appreciate it for answering that question. Okay. Yeah. So AWS is Amazon Web Services. Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. They. Oh, where was I? God. Okay. Yeah. So so on Bit, you're able to select beginner. You're able to select Python, and they begin to give you questions. So it's a very basic question is this: create a function that adds 2 plus 3 together and will give you 5, or create a function that when you multiply it always gives you an even number, something like that, right? Or basically trying to make you express word problems or practical problems, and trying to make you create some sort of maybe basic function, or maybe trying to create a class or something, depending on the difficulty level, right? So a lot of times when there's an issue so for example now, Apache Airflow, we're working on building Apache Airflow, right? So my senior colleague built it. So I need to replicate it on a different Linux server, right? But I don't want to copy the guy's stuff. I went and pasted what's my I wanted to do something and move on. So guess what? He was using version 1.16 or so. I was using version 1.2. So a lot of things had changed. So when I tried to do this, after I'm like, what am I doing? So what I did was I went back to the documentation. I sat down. I said, okay, what is this for? Okay, what is this for? What is this for? Okay. So that's basically what I did, right? That's basically what I did. I tried to now understand the foundational frameworks. And then when you understand the foundational frameworks, you now go back to the problem and you're now like, okay, how do I attack this? Okay, this is where this is. Okay, but then I read that this happened. So could it be because of this that this is happening, right? And then as you're correcting yourself, always make sure you document, because guess what? You're not a machine, you forget things. So document your processes, right? And by documenting your processes, when you encounter issues or try to help somebody, just give the person the distance and say, go and follow, right? So when you hit rock bottom, calm down, right? If you think you would know, you'd always know if the problem is a foundational problem. If the problem is that you don't understand the foundational structure of what you're trying to do, right? If the problem is a knowledge problem, calm down, go and sit down, read on it, documentation. If you feel documentations are too technical, watch a video, maybe a YouTube video. For someone like me, I always enjoy paying for my courses, so I always go to Udemy, get bestseller courses, try and go through it. Is what I want. I when I'm trying to learn a new tech, maybe a new tool or something, a new language or something. I prefer buying videos. I prefer buying courses because I always take them more seriously when I'm paying for it, right? So when it's something you don't understand, go and get a course, sit down with it, right? If you just use a couple of hours, try to understand the overview of it, go back, check, right? What are you missing? Then go back to your course. What did these guys say? You can also Google what are they saying, try to understand the foundations, right? So it's very, very important to understand the foundation. But if the problem is not a knowledge problem, the thing is, if it's a knowledge problem, you know it is a knowledge problem. Because if you're not good at something, you know you're not good at it, you don't need anybody to tell you. So if it's not a knowledge problem, but it's something that a different kind of problem, you can now meet somebody and be like, okay, I've tried this, I've tried that. This is what I thought it should be. What do you think, right? So if it's a specific problem, right, that should be this thing. But if you're noticing that the problem is not specific, the problem is like any other problem that they are bringing to you, any other thing they are bringing to you, you just don't understand anything. It's a knowledge problem. So you'd want to develop capacity. If it's a logical flow, a problem in your logical flow, you don't know how to build solutions logically. Go to Hadoop, right? And just improve yourself. Basically, expose yourself to as many possible logical problems to as many possible logical problems as possible, and you'd eventually, because a lot of times when people in my office, a couple of people meet me and they're like, Victor, I've tried this, I've tried that, it's not working. I'm like, why not try this? And he's like, yeah, when you think about that, right? So it didn't just appear in my head. I had a history of consistency in building my logical flow, right? A history of experience. When I told you, as I said earlier, when things are not working, I can't sleep until I fix it. So things like that grow you. You get. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions?
Okay, yes, I've got a question. Yeah, I have a
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Okay, Victor, thank you very much for all of this. So my question is, what certifications do you advise us to take as data scientists?
What
What route should we be
specification?
looking at?
What? Sorry, I can't get that last part.
Okay, what certifications do you advise
certifications?
us?
Oh, certifications. So
Yes.
the thing is this. So this is the thing about certifications, right? Yeah, I was good. Thank you for asking me that, because I was going to show you something, but I guess this my laptop does pause a lot of my plans. Okay, so I was going to take you guys to LinkedIn and other job opportunities. Could you just mute your mic? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I was going to take you guys to LinkedIn and some other places. So this is how to know the certifications to chase. This is what I do, right? I didn't read any book. I just do it. Let's say, for example, I need a better pay. So what would that mean? I need a better job, right? I go to my job, or I go to LinkedIn, for example. I check, okay, these places I want to go to, right? These are what they require. A lot of places will tell you they want you to. A lot of places now coming to you as a data engineer, right? Let's say you're a data engineer. You're specially interested in building ETL pipelines, trying to migrate data and all those other stuff, right? They're telling you that what they want you to learn, or what you would see a lot of times will be Apache Spark, right? Apache Spark, things like Hadoop, things like that, all those big data technologies. But guess what? There was a time I started applying for some remote jobs abroad, right? And I'm like, a lot of them were just asking for Snowflake. So what's my point? First of all, understand what you want to achieve. What industries do you want to work at? Check for most of the job searches for those industries, right? Check for job applications or job posters, adverts on those on the industry or the location you want to go to. If it's a remote job, check for remote job adverts, or whatever they call it. What your employers, what are they posting? What are the skills that they need? If they need a skill in Apache Airflow, you would want to get a certification in Apache Airflow, right? Because a lot of time when employers see certification in their mind, this guy knows how to do it. That's the first that comes to their mind, right? Although they'll still test you, interviews, assessments, but they will definitely be more open to calling you, right? To test you on that skill. So yeah. But in Nigeria, I noticed that a lot of times, even abroad too, they still ask for Spark. Nigeria, a lot of times they ask for Spark. So it's not like a certification; it's more just like a skill. So it will be better in your favor if you have it under the skill section and under the certification section. That okay, I'm a certified Apache Spark developer, right? There are a couple of courses. I was checking it in the office. There's a Hadoop developer certification. I think it's something 410. Is this CCD, Cloudera Certified Developer Hadoop, CCDH 410 or so, right? So basically, you have a situation like that. Your employer would know that okay, this guy most likely knows about Hadoop, because on Hadoop you can implement Hadoop with you can implement Hadoop. You can implement Hadoop Spark. You can implement Hadoop with a lot of other data technologies, right? So yeah, certifications like that help you. But basically, the certification will depend on the most frequent on the most frequent requirements, skill requirement by your employers or by prospective employers. Power BI. I think the course code for that should be, the certification code for that should be DA 100. Azure data analyst, DA 100. So if you're someone that is really passionate about business intelligence, a lot of companies use Power BI. any interview you go for, they ask you, do you know Power BI? They can understand if you use Tableau, Power BI Tableau. So you want to get certified in those courses. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, any other question, please?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Can you hear me? This
Yeah, I
is
can hear
Joy.
you. Mm-hmm.
Yes. What do you think about internship, or what time is best to look out for it, and what companies do you think you could recommend?
Okay, Joy, are you still speaking? Last thing I heard was
Or at what point is bad? Can you hear me now? At
Yeah, I
what
can hear
point
you.
do you think we could apply as an intern? So.
Okay, internship is very important. I can't believe I didn't mention internship. I'm so sorry. Part of the things I forgot to talk about. Internship is actually very important because a lot of times when you are working as a when you're an end enthusiast in the tech field, people are really not going to want to just get you and pay you for knowing nothing or for being a novice. So what people want to do is that they want to companies are out there to make money and reduce costs. So they want to take you as an intern, pay you as low as possible, but don't see it like they are cheating you. They're actually helping you. Why? Because they would be helping you gain exposure that would have taken years for you to get it. If I'm being honest, they can help you get that exposure in 6 months, right? So you're going to have to you're going to learn a lot, and after you've done that internship, you can now say, okay, I did this with this company, right? Come and employ me, right? You can start at fair price, 120, 150, fair price, right? Or maybe 100K. And then you guys can just negotiate. Work there for maybe a year or two. If they are not promoting you, use your experience, go to the next place, right? Yeah, but internship gives you that foundation, right? But not everybody would need to go through internship. I didn't need to go through internship, right? I was just lucky, but a lot of people would have to go through internship. Basically, you would have to do a job where they are paying you peanuts to learn tech. That's what I'm trying to say in simple terms. Where they are paying you peanuts to learn tech, and you can stay for a couple of months or a year, right? And then you feel like you're good enough to go to the next level. Yeah. So companies to go to be honest, I don't know any company, right? But I know that in my bank, right, we take interns, but I think after COVID we stopped that. Yeah, I don't think they resumed that. Yeah, but we used to take interns, right? Yeah, and those interns, there was this intern I knew. His name is Shei. Yeah, Shei. So what Shei did was after school, Shei wanted to join the fintech division, right? But they only really take him as an intern, of course. So he agreed to stay there. So he stayed there for like a year plus. I got a very good offer in Heritage Bank. Yes, Heritage Bank. Heritage. Yeah, Heritage Bank. So and yeah, he got a very good offer in Heritage Bank, right? And he's doing quite well because um what you want to do is that you want to intern for a good company, right? So what are the best tech firms we have, or the best reputable firms that we have who are well known for tech, who are well known for data science or something like that? What are those reputable firms? Google is your best friend. So what will you want to do? You want to go to Google, right? Google it and say most reputable firms in tech in Nigeria, right? Then you can send and tell those firms that, okay, my name is so I'm an intern. I wish to apply for the role of an intern, right? But there also has to be something of value that you can offer, right? Don't just say I'm an intern, please take me. No, these guys are out there to make money, right? They are not there to make friends or to be good people. They are there to make money and make their companies better, right? So your name is so you wish to apply for the position of an intern. This is what you've been able to learn on your own. This is what you've been able to accomplish on your own, right? you believe that you can add value in so way to them based on what you have learned, right? You don't have to pay me, right? If possible, if you really want a position, right? If for example, if you know that if you work in this firm for 6 months to a year, you can go to another place and they'll actually give you a very good pay. You could actually work that if it is possible. I don't know people, your financial status, but if it is possible, you could do that. You could just make the sacrifice. Choose just to survive for like 6 months to a year, and in 3 to 5 years, you'll be better off for it, right? So it's not easy at first, to be honest, but yeah, it's possible. So yeah, a reputable firm that is well known for tech in the country, right? This is what I've learned. This is how I can be of value to you. If necessary, I'm willing to work for free. If you can handle it, I'm willing to work for free to prove myself to you. Things like that, right? So yeah, that could work. That could work. Okay. Any other question? Any other question? What's the time? Time is 1:48. Okay. I was hoping we'll close by 2. Is there any other question? Come on. No question is too stupid.
Okay, boss. You spoke about Java.
JavaScript.
You spoke about Java when you were explaining some things. I just want to know, aside Python, are you saying like we can also use Java to do our works, or
No, I said JavaScript.
Yeah, JavaScript. That's what I'm saying. So I just want to know, like, are you saying we should also look to that, or because
No.
most of what we're doing is on Python.
Yeah. Okay. So when I first started, the reason why I said JavaScript was when I was first started programming. But at the time I didn't know about data science, so I was really just trying to build basic web pages, web applications using JavaScript. Yeah. So that's why I use Java. But if you want to do data science, please use Python. I think it's possible to do data science on JavaScript, but it's not too supported. So you might just be a very frustrated human being. I think it's possible. I think I saw it somewhere in 2019 or so. It's possible, but it's not really supported. So you'd want to use the most supported library or language to do what you would need to do, so that when you have issues, it's easy to go to a community that where somebody has done it before. For example, Stack Overflow, right? Where somebody has done it before and they are able to give you solutions. So yeah, Python please, or R, but people don't really use R. And that's because on Python you could, so for example, now I can build a web application on Python using Django or Flask, and I can build my models, and it's easier to integrate because it's the same language, right? It's easier to integrate. Okay, so for those that don't know, Django and Flask web frameworks for Python, right? So so they are like React and Angular to JavaScript. Yeah. So yeah, just frameworks to just make web development achievable in Python, right? So yeah, so if for example I'm building a website using those two languages or those two frameworks, I'm trying to integrate it to my machine learning model, which I built on Python. It's going to be very easy to do that. So yeah, you'd want to stick to Python. And most companies use Python now anyway, not R, because of the dynamics and diversity in Python. The flexibility in Python. Yeah, basically. Any other question? Okay, I think I'm seeing a couple of messages.
Please, I want to ask a question, please.
Okay, Adenika.
Yeah, my name is Adenike. I'm actually learning Power BI right now, but I still use my data set given to me for practice. Where can I go to, or a website that I can download more data sets so I can use for improvements? I don't know if you understand me.
Okay, so here's the thing. In order for you to improve your skill set in data, to be honest, the real work in data science is in mining of data, is in cleaning your data. Because in the real world, you're going to have a lot of dirty data. You're going to have a lot of nonsense that they call data. And you would want to have the right skill set in terms of cleaning data or in terms of transforming your data. Yeah, that's the word. In terms of transforming your data. So where can you go to? There's a place I love going to. Google football data. Football. We have a lot of football data, a lot of it, and try to see how you can clean it up from the date columns to the different type of columns. Try and see how you can extract football data using Beautiful Soup or any other web scraping library. I think we have a couple of them. So you're gonna have a lot of dirty data. Try and see how you can play with that data, clean it up, and try and visualize stuff on Power BI. Yeah, I think that will be helpful. If not football data, you can just Google the 10 most. Yeah, so let me just teach you guys a simple skill in programming. Google is your best friend. Google is your best friend. That's the best advice I learned when I was learning programming. Google is your best friend. Google things. Yeah, so you could just Google top 10 best top 10 popular and available data in the world, right? Movie data. I'm breaking. I'm breaking. Can you hear me now? I think I was breaking.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so movie data, you can get a lot of movie data. Um, COVID, during the COVID season, there was a lot of data on COVID. I had a guy that was learning something. The guy had a lot of data. He said data was too much for him, and I asked him, I think it was a couple of thousands. That's not so much, but yeah. Yeah, but that's good enough to start. And you can always just clean your data. And when you're extracting it from in JSON format, trust me, your data is not going to be as clean as you want it. So it's a good start. For those who don't know, JSON format is more, some sort of unstructured way of storing data, right? We have the structured way. The structured way will be that your data is in a tabular form, and the unstructured way is that it's just in curly brackets where you have key value pairs, something like that. Yeah, so yeah, I hope that was useful, Adineke. Adineke.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, then any other question, please?
Please, how long does it usually take you to clean up this
Huh?
data? How long does it usually take you to clean up this data? And as you say, that's the most of what you do, and that's what consumes a lot of time. So how long when you?
Okay, so data cleaning doesn't necessarily have to consume time. What consumes time the most is data. What's the word? Why do I forget that word? So basically, when you're trying to organize your data, now I'm speaking specifically in trying to build a machine learning model, right? So when you're trying to organize your data in a way whereby you try to structure your data in a way whereby, let's say you have year 1, year 2, year 3. You're trying to say what is the best distribution, right? To give my data, or so I'm trying to say, okay, let me do 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8. Things that you're trying to bin, maybe your categorical variables, right? You're trying to see what's the best way to bin these variables. Or you're trying to say what's the best way to normalize or maybe transform my variables, things like that. Cleaning data might take time. The reason why cleaning data might take time, right? Because the truth is there's no specific answer for that, right? So somebody can answer how long can clean data take. There's no specific answer for that. If you're building a basic model whereby you are trying to predict the gender of a couple of people, right? And you're trying to use name as the only variable to predict gender, right? What you would want would be that you've gotten your data, so you don't need to do much data cleaning, right? Why? Because number one, you don't have a lot of variables, right? So, but you're trying to, for example, extract. You're trying to do, let's say, email sentiment analysis. Yeah, it's called a sentiment analysis model. You're trying to categorize or prioritize your emails based on the most urgent needs. So, for example, you want to prioritize fraud emails over ATM dispense error emails, right? Why? Because the customer is at risk of losing his money. But so you want to attend to that first, right? So when you're doing things like that, the data is usually very dirty because it's customer typing, and then you have to extract it from somewhere. It is in an unstructured form and all those other stuff. So you have a lot of text around that data. So you have to do a lot of cleaning around data. For that, data cleaning will be very exhaustive, right? So everything depends on the model you're trying to build and the kind of data you already have at hand. But in a case where the data you have is really dirty, you might spend most of the time cleaning your data, right? Because at the end of the day, the quality of data you impute into the model will determine the model accuracy or predictive power in terms of making sense of your data. Hope that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. I thought Dimeji was trying to speak. Okay. Any other question?
Yeah, sorry, but I came late, so I don't really have much. Hi, good evening.
No problem. Good
I
evening.
just joined, so I don't really have much.
Yeah. Okay. So could just wait a couple of minutes. Any of you have any questions? Or could just call it a day. Just wait. If I don't get any question in 2 minutes or a minute, just call it a day.
Hi, Victor. Thank you
Yeah,
very
I've got
much
a question.
for
Sorry.
the session. Okay, Sumto, please go for it.
Yeah, please. Do you recommend what is this data free code camp for a start?
Data free code camp. Do you know? I know data free code camp. I've never gone there before. Let me just quickly go there. Free code camp. Never gone there. There are a lot of data platforms. A lot of data platforms. Okay, so I want to know data science. What could go wrong? How to avoid it? Just give me a minute. I'm going through it. It looks like what they do is more of information than training, more of like trends. Am I correct, Somto?
No, I think they do practical stuff as well. But someone recommended it.
Okay, because what I'm saying is build 12 data science apps. How to get started with algorithmic trading in Python, how to manage computer vision, why you should learn SQL, Bayes rule explain. Okay, it's good to go to all these places, right? But you must also not be at the danger of information overload, right? What is information overload? Information overload is when there's just so much information and you don't really have a direction of what you're trying to accomplish. So this is what I usually advise people to do based on personal experience. When you want to start coding, choose a language. First of all, choose what you want to be, right? Choose the language that supports what you want to be, right? Now, learn the basic frameworks of that language, the variables, the loops, how the language basically works, basic syntax. Just learn at least 20 or 30%, right? After you've learned that, if you've never done programming before, build your coding logic, right? Build your coding logic. I've put header bits. You can use header bit to build your coding logic. You feel like, okay, I'm getting a grip of, you would know when you're getting it. I'm getting a grip of this thing. What you want to do next is get challenge yourself, get 2 or 3 people. Don't forget team collaboration. Get 2 or 3. Say you want to build a specific app. Everyone has his own role, right? Now, when you do that, by default, when you're stuck on your project, you go to Google and you try and figure things out. That's usually the best way to learn. You learn on the job. You learn by building projects. You learn by taking on real life challenges and building things for you, right? If it's good to go to W3 schools, data science, and all this other stuff, but after a while, you just be reading. I say you want to be a professor, but if you want to be a practical software guy, data guy, think project wise. And when you have issues, when the thing is this, when you have issues, you still come to the data free code camp to get your solutions, right? But you only be getting solutions you need for the job at hand. You get, my network is unstable. Okay, sorry, my network was unstable. So I was saying that yes, you still need to go to free code camp, but you go to free code camp for the task you have specific at hand. You're not a computer, so you shouldn't know it all. Just know what you need to know for the time. So yes, um, you're an enthusiast. You don't need to have a programming. Know what you want to be. Choose your language. Choose the language that best fits what you want to be. Learn the basic fundamentals of the language, syntax and all. Understand the logical structure of the language. Go to Edabit, you get that there. Um, um, get a team of 2 or 3 serious-minded people, please. Serious-minded people, not anyhow people. People that will motivate you. Get a team, collaborate with team with some team people, with a group of people, and build a project together. When you do these 6 things, especially when you get to start building projects together, all the things that you want to learn on Free Code Camp, you will see them, right? You see them and you apply them. And when you do that, see, the thing is this: when you go to Free Code Camp and you're just learning, you're just reading, trust me, after a week or 2, you will forget how to do these things, right? But when you take on a real life project, right, and you're trying to get things to work, it almost never leaves you. Even if it leaves you, you know how to go and research. You know how to do type Google, go and bring it back, copy 1 or 2 codes, transform it to edit it to how you want your own to be. You get so that the best way to go is by working on projects. That's really the best way to go. The best way to grow in any area of life is by practical steps, by going out to get things done. Practical steps, not necessarily reading. Reading is good. Reading is good to get foundations, but to go deep, think projects. Hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you. You keep mentioning Edabit. Please, can you spell it for me? I'm trying to do some.
Yeah, I think it's in the chat section. They put the link edabit.com. And the reason why I mentioned Edabit is because it's really what helped me when I eventually needed to improve my coding logic. So you see a bunch of challenges you have to solve. You have to think on it. It expands your creativity muscle in terms of programming. Yeah.
Thank you, Victor.
Okay, no problem.
Hi, sorry. Good afternoon.
Okay, Dimeji.
Which would you advise between IBM Watson Studio and Microsoft Azure, which is widely commonly used?
Microsoft Azure and what?
IBM Watson Studio. IBM Watson.
IBM. Did you say IBM?
Yeah, IBM Watson.
Okay. So it depends on, Microsoft Azure is the whole platform. Are you being specific now? Are you speaking in regards to learning a specific tool on Microsoft Azure?
Okay. Microsoft Azure, it's I think it's widely used, or it's widely among different companies. I think they implement it more than IBM Watson Studio.
Okay.
Because it's like Amazon Cloud Service, IBM Watson Studio is like Amazon Cloud Service, and I think Microsoft Azure is like Amazon.
Okay, I understand what you mean.
Understand
Okay,
what I mean?
Yeah.
But understanding each of them is quite difficult. It's not so easy.
Yeah.
Understanding each of them is like it's quite.
Okay, I'm not very familiar with IBM Watson, right? I understand that it's like Azure in terms of also a cloud service.
Yeah, it's also a cloud service, more like Amazon as well.
Okay, so I understand that. But okay, so this is what I would say, right? I wouldn't necessarily tell you choose this or choose that, right? Because we live in times where things change. What I would tell you is this: understand where you are and what is more accepted in where you are, right? I personally, I might be wrong, right? But in my exposure and experience level, companies in Nigeria are more willing to accept Azure skills, Microsoft skills than IBM. Yes. And the reason being that when you go to some companies, right? When you check their Outlook, for example, Outlook is Microsoft. Is of course Microsoft. Their emailing. Most companies, not all, but a lot of companies that I've worked with is or that I've seen is Microsoft, right? basically a lot of stuff they do. They use Microsoft as their vendors, right? In order to implement certain things, right? In terms of Teams, right? Some people use Zoom, but a lot of other companies use Microsoft Teams, right? So if those companies are looking to extend certain services that they do, they'll want to naturally use Microsoft. Why? Because it's easier for integration. It is easier to integrate things together, right? So I would say look at the demographics that you are. I think in Nigeria, Microsoft is more accepted by companies than IBM. IBM could be good, right? It could be good, right? But you must make sure that what you are learning is relevant to the industry and the location where you are, or where you need, or where you wish to be. I hope that helps.
Yes, that's thanks so much.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay. Any other question? Are we done? Okay.
Then you mentioned Django. If you want to learn Django, like which area can we look at?
You want to learn Django?
Yeah.
I don't know Django. I just know about Django, but I don't know Django.
Because you mentioned Django and
Django,
Flask, so that's why we are. That's why. You
yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
Django and
So
Flask, that's why.
you want to learn Django?
It's okay.
Yeah, I did.
No. I don't want to learn Django.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn Django again. Since you don't know Django, it's fine.
So okay, no. So you shouldn't limit my level of knowledge and experience to yours, right? You can do that, but before you learn a language, don't just learn something for the fun of it, right? Except you have a lot of spare time on your hands. Don't just learn something for the fun of it. Learn something with purpose in mind. What are you trying to accomplish? So right now, I'm trying to build an application where I can have some sort of courses and all. So I'm trying to use Flask to do it, right? That's why I'm learning Flask. Do you understand? So it's always best to have a purpose in mind, have something you're trying to accomplish, right? And then you can always learn something, learn what you need to accomplish what you need, right? Don't just learn things for fun, else you'll forget, and it won't do much in terms of productivity for you. So you must always think towards productivity. Why do I need to do this? What will it enable me achieve? How will it impact my life? Things like that. You have to be critical in terms of asking yourself questions. So you won't just be all over the place learning everything, and then you end up achieving nothing. So yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? I think yes. So someone put Edabit again. Edabit.com. Yeah. So thank you very much for that. So yeah. Just in case you didn't get it, edabit.com. So someone just posted on the chat section. Any other question? So they also posted my LinkedIn link. So if you need to get in touch with me, you could just send me a message. Yeah. Please, only serious people, please. No offense, right? But yeah, because if you're messaging me, it's because I actually like doing what I can for people. I actually like doing my best for people. So when people are not serious, it actually gets to me, right? So if only if you're really serious, right, and you have some questions, right, and you need help once in a while, right, so you can reach out, right? Only if you're really serious. Yeah. So yeah, the link is there. So you could just copy the link before the meeting ends. Because I don't know if Zoom saves chat history. I don't know. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Feels like I've exhausted all your questions. I think I'm impressed with myself.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you.
Hi, Victor. Thank you very much for this session. So I don't know if we have more questions. If we do, maybe you can just share them with Victor on LinkedIn. And I like that Victor has been emphasizing that only serious people, because when you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn, you want to ensure that you are going in you're going in fully. Like, don't just go on LinkedIn and send messages to people and say I and wait for them to respond. You take forever for you to get a response. So yes, if you're going to reach out to Victor, please don't send I to Victor, because No, might not answer you. So yeah, thank you very much. I've been able to learn one or two things from the session, and I'm sure everybody on this session that stayed through were able to learn one or two things. I'm pretty sure that's why we don't really have a lot of questions. But yes, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate that you've taken time out to put the slides together. I mean, if you want to venture into UI UX design, it might take you, because you've taken our time to like combine the colors well and everything looks good. So yes, thank you very much for putting the time. We appreciate your presence. So yes, in case you have questions for Victor, please feel free to connect with him on LinkedIn. You'll be glad to help you out. Only serious people again. Yes. Okay. Thank you everybody for taking our time to join the session. We appreciate every one of you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye, Victor.
Bye.
Bye, Victor. Thank you.
Yeah.